Thank you very much, Gerry. Look, and while I may have been in this chamber once or twice for Nancy Pelosi and another couple of speakers, I never had the opportunity to speak in this chamber. So, as I think as Councillor Boyne said, people can look on maybe if they're looking in and see us here and wonder, have we been demoted or promoted or what, elevated or so on. But I didn't, on the 27th of March, think last year that A, I would have lost my seat, but B, when I did, that I'd be back less than 13 months later. So I just want to thank everybody here. It's a very kind of strange experience way to know that as a by-election candidate, particularly one who happened to make it over the line on the first count, as did Maria Byrne, that an actual majority of the members who operate in these houses on a daily basis put a 1 beside your name and elected me into this chamber. And I'm humbled to be here. I'm really privileged and delighted to be here. And I want to thank everybody who was able to give me that number 1. But equally, I appreciate the support, the 2s and the 3s that I was getting, and the effective 2s and 3s that I may have needed, but thankfully I didn't, from those who were committed to another candidate. And I certainly aim to work with everybody right across this chamber for as long as we're all here, and long may it last. Just to thank, I want to pay tribute to the Taoiseach Micheál Martin for instigating a process as the leader of our party, an open and democratic process with the 58 members of the parliamentary party, allowing 12 of us to present, and I was ultimately the successful candidate that came through that process, which allowed me to be the candidate. But then to thank everybody across the 3 government parties, Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and the Greens, and there was a little bit of a blip, I suppose, with some of that, but it's fine, it was grand, we got through that. But equally, there are people here from every party and from none who supported myself, and I'm sure supported Senator Byrne as well, and I want to acknowledge that and appreciate that. As group leader of the Fianna Fáil group in Dunleer Down in 2014, I actually negotiated with the late John Bailey and Catherine Martin, who was the group leader of the Greens at the time in Dunleer Down, the first Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael Green Party arrangement, I think, in the country. And we did it before anybody else, and it worked very well. And the Green Party started off with 2 councillors in 2014, and they came back with 6 councillors in 2019. So they didn't have anything to fear from being in a governing arrangement. And equally, the other parties did quite well and came back with good numbers of councillors as well. It's great to be here. I just want to thank everybody for your support. It's not a day for raising too many issues, but I would, I suppose, want to just reflect slightly on the fact that in the last 13 months, many people have lost loved ones, have suffered illness through the pandemic. Friends of mine have lost parents. People I know have passed away with COVID. Many of them had underlying conditions, but they were alive. They were with us, and they aren't anymore, and I want to remember that. But on the other hand, I also want to acknowledge the very difficult time businesses have had, particularly in aviation, in hospitality, in tourism, in restaurants, in pubs. And I would support the cause of Senator Byrne, Senator Dooley, that when we're reopening, as soon and as we can and as safely as we can, that we wouldn't have a distinction between the food pubs and the pubs that aren't food. Let people in the open air, distant, in a safe way, enjoy company, enjoy being sociable in a safe way. And the last thing people want is to be reliant on PUP payments. They want to get back to work. They want to get back to doing what they do and doing what they do well. And hopefully, sooner rather than later, we'll all have our vaccines and we'll all be back working to a new normal. But hopefully those opportunities will be there. So just again to thank every single person in these houses for the support I got in the last few weeks. I apologise to all of you who I rang too often and spoke to too often, but appreciate it. Thank you very much.